thought today I would go over just combat in Barbarossa. I'm using the Army Group South Scenario 1 map and units. And I thought I would just go straight out of the rule book and kind of go through each thing and show you some examples. The one thing I won't be doing is armor attrition. The cards in the game describe armor attrition pretty easily. So I don't think I need to really go over that. I mean, if you think it's needed, I can. The charts, I'm using straight off the charts for Army Group South. So I'm going to use it as is. As is, no errata, just straight out of the box. So let's take a look at the situation I've got set up here. Let's pretend that it is the Axis attack declaration phase. So you'll want to check the expanded sequence of playing. We would be on Axis combat phase. We're not going to use air power because I kind of covered that already. Throw that in there. Now I'm going to designate declared attacks, and you have to have attack supply. I won't be doing attack supply in this. I covered that in the other video. This is just straight up combat, really simple stuff here. Situation I have here is just outside of Kiev, and as you remember in combat, when you declare attacks, if an enemy has a ZOC that touches your area, they must be accounted for in a declared attack, so you can't ignore them. So an example of this, attacking is voluntary. Okay, you have to have a minimum attack odds of 1 to 4. Enemy units in the hex must project a ZOC into an adjacent friendly occupied hex. Friendly ground combat units can attack from any hex in the defender's ZOC. Condition 2 is the enemy occupied hex contains a hex or hex side that allows you to attack across. So if someone were in the swamp, armor can't attack into there. So you can't attack a unit in the swamp because motorized units aren't able to enter the swamp hex. Hexes eligible for attack are when a friendly unit attacks, all enemy combat units that project a ZOC into the attacking unit's hex must be attacked by either the friendly unit or another eligible unit. Okay. That's right there with this picture. So if this German unit wants to attack this very, very tough 75th Infantry Division, right there, if he wants to attack this Soviet unit here, this unit must be accounted for. That will force this unit to attack here. You can't just attack here and ignore this one. Okay, so we'd have to declare multiple attacks here. So we'll do a declared attack here, right? And you've seen me do this a little bit before. We'll do a declared attack there. And then the 44th Infantry Division is going to have to attack here. Whoops, placed that wrong. If this unit was down here, if we had this, you could do one-on-ones. Put the artillery back here. We're going to need him. This is the 801st, sorry. All right, so yeah, the German 801st regiment, artillery regiment, is going to get into action here. So you can tell these are the older counters because they have set up hex boxes here. All right, so I've got this set up. It's marked off for the scenario 1 that I'm going to be doing. Now let's go through the procedure. The defender, I believe, now can react. The defender gets combat reaction movement. And again, we covered that. If you're within 3 hexes of a declared combat, you might be able to move some units according to what's going on. We're not going to be doing that here. I've demonstrated that already, so we don't need to do that. And again, the Soviets would need to use an HQ to accomplish that. All right, so now the defender may commit artillery support. If the Russians had some artillery sitting here, they could, you know, commit it. The Russians are very limited in their artillery, like I said. 1 per attack for attack defense, unless they're stacked with an HQ. But they don't have any artillery here. So now we do, the defender may issue retreat orders. Okay. The Soviet players depended upon HQs for issuing orders. Well, that's where there's no HQs here. So that's where they could, if they were in range of an HQ, like 4 hexes, the HQ could use one of his commands and place one of the orders. The Soviets aren't going to do that here. I'm keeping this really simple. A lot of this stuff, you know, you can kind of just follow along here. You determine attack supply. Then the attacker, so if we had attack supply, if we had to use it, that's where you flip a counter over. I covered supply already in another video. Now the attacker allocates artillery support. So if you remember the number right up here, let me get this zoomed in here. I gotta get used to my tripod here. The 2 right up there in the upper left corner is the range. Okay. So we've placed that perfectly. Let me zoom back in here. So he's going to be dumping artillery on that hex. And usually I use like a cube to help me remember. That's from a coin game. So he's dedicated to this attack. All right. This guy up here, the 44th Infantry, doesn't get any artillery. I don't think these German units are going to need it. They're very strong units. So now you do your odds calculation and you check for terrain. So he's in a woods. I got to check and see what that does. Again, not too complicated. This should be a blowout. I like to set these aside when I do this. I'll just kind of go like that so you can see what's going on. Now I'm using the old non-color Army Group South ugly ass charts. So give me a second here. Woods, DRM or effect, other terrain. Okay, that's a town. So this is an assault on this town. Irpin, IRPEN, I believe. So this is assault on this town, and again, I don't think there's going to be too much of an advantage here. If it were mud or snow, there would be a +1 DRM. The weather's dry, so there's no DRMs, modifiers. This is a very basic combat. All right. Artillery's going off, shots are being fired. So let's add up everything. The Soviet unit has a 2 defense, which is horrible. I did it again. I'm awful with these tweezers. Okay. Remember, defense is your second number. All right. So we have a 7 to 2. Let's add the artillery. That's 3. That's 10 to 2. That's 5 to 1. Okay. Looking pretty grim. Stepping through the rule book. There's no DRMs for air support that got through. Nothing for terrain. Again, very basic combat. We covered supply in a different video. The artillery's dropping a 3 in there. I need to find my die. I'm prepared for everything but a die. Okay, here we go. I also have some videos on Twitch where I was streaming war games that I started about 6 months ago. All right, here we go. I'm gonna roll. This is a straight up live roll. I don't know what's gonna happen here, but a 1 is pretty good. I've been rolling really low lately. So 5 to 1, 4 retreat, or 3 retreat. That's a 3-step loss in a retreat for the defender. So there's no reason to even check that. I think it's only a 1-step loss unit, correct. Eliminated goes to the cadre box. And then we have our advance after attack, and the town is taken by the 75th German Infantry Division. Town captured, they're on the fortified line right outside Kiev. And there's step losses it covers. Remember, multiple step loss. For units with 8, 9, 5, you got to put these counters on them and flip them over and put a counter on them. 1 steps are just eliminated. We skip over retreating. This is all self-explanatory. I just want to show you how you pick which hexes get to attack. Advance after combat. When any defender hex is vacated, attacking units can advance into the hex. Advances are useful in cutting off the retreats. A player must exercise the option to advance immediately before going the other one. You're not forced to do it. Only victorious non-artillery units can advance. The advance must be into the hex that was attacked. You ignore ZOC. Cannot violate stacking limits. If there's a case of multiple hex combat, victorious units can be advanced from any hex from which the attack was made. Okay, so say this hex had been surrounded by a bunch of Germans that were attacking, and you can pick which ones, as long as they took part in the combat, you can pick which ones you move in here. For now, he's just going to move up, take the town, and they're going to rest. Now we have another attack to do up here. They're trying to clear the Russians out. This attack's going to be pretty bad too. Again, this is clear terrain, but there's no artillery support, so we declare the attack. The Russians could make reaction movement. There's no reaction movement. They don't have any artillery to throw in. If I wanted to, I could give them an artillery unit. This is 8-2, so the odds aren't as good. It's 4-1. 5. Okay. All right. We're looking at 4-1, a 5. That's not that great. So it's a 1-step loss for the defender. Let me make sure I read that right here. Yeah, just 1. That may be enough to take that unit out, though. So this unit was already weakened. And it can't be just, weakened anymore. So that is a elimination. And the 44th Infantry Division is going to decline advance after combat. They just wanted to clear out that Soviet unit and stack up along this Kiev fortified line, prepare for an assault on the city. And that's really about it. The combat, it's pretty basic stuff. You just got to check for, the different results. The charts really explain it very nicely. I did want to point out this book I got. Let me zoom out here. Slaughterhouse, the Handbook of the Eastern Front. This is pretty good stuff. So basically, this is a down and dirty guide of everything that fought on the Eastern Front. A brief introduction there, and then we get into the actual what units were where on the dates. Anti-tank chart, anti-aircraft, tank destroyers. So I just wanted to point, it's pretty cheap on Amazon. I got it off of Amazon. So there you go. Slaughterhouse Handbook of the Eastern Front. All right, now I'm actually saying goodbye. Talk to y'all later.